This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois over Zoom. Daniel, first and foremost, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Yeah, it's just working away and ready though. Feel good.
That's good to hear, mate. It's good to hear. It's been a while since we last spoke. I believe last time we spoke was just before you last fought back in those August time. Since then, how have you kind of found this camp? Because for ages, you and Joe have spoke about this fight. You had a previous date agreed. How have you actually found it kind of getting that ever closer to fight date now?
Well, camp's gone well, really. It's been a lot longer than I expected it would be from, the original date, but we're here now and there's no turning back. We're really at the end of it now. We've got, what, 2 weeks left and then it's go time.
How many times in your own mind, Daniel, have you played the fight out? Have you thought about it? Do you go to sleep thinking about kind of what it's going to be like when you're both in the ring because of how much it's kind of built up over the past 12 months, effectively?
Yeah, of course, all the time. When I'm in the gym, when I'm at home, I sort of switch off a little bit, but I always have them at the back of my mind and how the fight will be, and we'll just at the end of the day, it's going to be another fight, and he's going to bring everything. He's not coming to lay down, so just have to chop him down and bring it home.
From a mental perspective, Daniel, for somebody so young, you're going into kind of what is now a big fight for yourself, a huge domestic clash, which, provided you're successful, would open up a variety of different doors. Given that it's taken so long to finally reach this point because of COVID and for situations out of everybody's hands. From a mental standpoint, how have you coped kind of in the build up to it? Has it been frustrating? Have you kind of struggled to keep yourself on an even keel throughout camp? How have you found it?
It's been it's been a different weird sort of time with no more, not so much out there, not so much people coming in and out of the gym, and what's happening in the world, and you can't change nothing about it. You just have to keep working away. It's it's been destined. This fight was always going to happen this year in my mind. So I haven't stopped training. I haven't. This is no shock for me. I do this week in, week out. So I fight and I'm ready for a fight.
Who do you think the extra time to prepare for this fight would have benefited, yourself or Joe Joyce more?
I personally believe myself. I think I've got time from the April to now. I've matured and I've gotten stronger than I would have been then. And it's a total, again, I'm only 23, so every fight is going to be different. It's going to be, I'm not a set routine. I can change and mix it up.
How have you found training at the new setup, the new Peacock gym, Daniel? Have you felt the benefits of that, or do you feel like you would have maybe preferred to have been in the old gym?
Yeah, I think it's a fresh start, really. I think the new gym is what we needed, really. Is after everything, we needed a fresh start, clear space, and that's what it is. Be new beginning.
There's been obviously a lot of back and forths between yourself and Joe in the build-up. What have you made of it all, kind of, Daniel? Reflecting on it all, whether it be the comments about his mother or jibes that Joe's thrown towards you. On reflections, what's your thoughts on it all?
Uh, Nothing really, but on the fight now, I'm gonna have to put it on him, and we're gonna fight anyway. So whatever it says is what it is.
How would you sum up your feelings towards Joe, Daniel? Would you say that, I asked this to a variety of people when there's kind of a rivalry building. Do you feel a sense of kind of hatred towards him, or is that too strong of a word to use?
Um, I say it's all business. He's in there, stop trying to stopping me from getting to the next level and moving on with my career and elevating myself. So he's standing in the way of a lot of things. He's a road trip. He's like a obstacle in my way. What I got to move out of the way, go right through him. And my feelings are really just to fight him and beat him.
Daniel, what do you make of kind of people who say if you don't stop him early on, then Joe will win on points? Do you think that people are overlooking your boxing ability and the fact that they don't kind of see you going the distance, if that was to be the case, of course. What do you make of the comments where people either assume it'll be you to finish Joe early or Joe to beat you over a longer distance?
None at all. I'm prepared for the full 12 rounds to fight every round. And but if the opportunity presents itself and I'm, create the opportunity, then I will get the knockout. But I'm always going in for the knockout. A win is good, but a knockout is great. It's what I want. So I'm gonna be going in there. It's all guns blazing. No, I only know one way to fight, and it's full throttle. But no, if it's 12 rounds, won't be a problem for me. No, if he was trying to, old man me or trying to, use that experience or anything, it won't work.
When you go back to your days when you was both boxing around the GB setup, what do you remember about that time, Daniel?
Just good memories, good positive, memories of sparring these guys. It was a great time for me. I was only young, 16 or 17, and sparring Joe and Fraser and all of them boys, getting them ready for the competitions. And I was just, there feeling, special. There wasn't. I was the youngest kid on the squad, and I was up there holding my own with all these top fighters. So really, it's been just put me in good stead and show me what my level is at and where I can go to.
Daniel, has it surprised you at all with kind of just how far you seem to have come in such a short space of time and for somebody so young? Because like I say, if you beat Joe, the world is your oyster. On the back of that, there'll be some brilliant doors opened up for yourself. Does it ever, when you look back, does it surprise you at just how quickly you've progressed?
Not really. It doesn't surprise me. I've been working at this since the early amateur days when no one was watching. I was, a baby. Since I was a baby, I've been at this. So, it's my dad and me going to the boxing clubs and all of that stuff. So it's not been a shock for me. It's been a long time coming.
Daniel, what's your earliest memory of boxing?
Earliest memories, what can I say? Going to, the old boxing clubs and beating up all the boys and trying to beat them up and, coming home with black eyes, bruises and, coming home and, some good days, some bad days, but, being consistent and sticking with it.
Daniel, one thing we have to consider in the build up to this, we've seen a number of fights fall through recently because of COVID, fighters testing positive. Unfortunately, most recently, today we saw 3 fighters for Frank's show, unfortunately, test positive, meaning their bouts have been pulled from this weekend's card. Is that a concern for you at all going into, obviously, in a week and a half's time when you start to isolate, or a week's time when you have to isolate in the hotel, whenever it is, that either you or Joe, unfortunately, if the case happened where one of you tested positive or a trainer or what have you, is that a concern of yours? Is it on your mind?
No, it's not on my mind. I don't think that will happen or get in the way of this fight happening. It's a risk we take, obviously, but I don't think about it. Whatever happens, we'll be prepared for the worst anyway.
Do you know if there's any backup plans in place just in case the worst case scenario happened and unfortunately, again, one of you did test positive for COVID?
I'm sure there is, but I'd have to speak to my manager and Martin Bowles and all the Frank Warren and everything else. But I'm sure there is. With what is going on today, there should be.
Talk to me about your relationship with Martin, Daniels. One thing I've always seen a close bond between the pair of you, and I've seen how closely you both work. How would you sum up your working relationship with Martin and kind of the role that he plays in your life in general, not just in the ring?
Well, it's an important role. Cornerman, you need good cornermen, and Martin's he's been with us from day one when we were coming down there sparring with Oval and that sort of stuff. But he's been there, he's old school and he says that as it is usually. He lets me know when, I need to adjust or, and it gives you space to work it out yourself. So I think we will make a good team.
Does he push you harder than the others?
Sorry?
Does he push you harder than the others?
No one pushes me harder than myself. I know.
It's a great reply, Daniel.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the fight itself, one thing I haven't asked you, a question I'm sure you'll be asked plenty of times. We spoke about how you've envisaged the fight playing out. How do you see the fight in your own mind going on November 28th?
I see it going down as a great fight for the fans and for the boxing world in general. It will be a massive fight. The clash, clash of the titans. This sort of fight, but I see a spectacular and devastating finish for myself, and another step, along the way.
Daniel, the fight's on normal BT subscription. It obviously isn't on pay-per-view. What was that? How did you kind of come to that agreement? Was it difficult? I imagine maybe taking a smaller purse, if at all, or how did you kind of come to the decision yourself and then Joe's team to do so?
Well, we was presented with an offer, and instead of putting it back, and I guess we could have said no and waited longer, but we just it was a spur of the moment, and it was on it from once they said it, everyone agreed. My dad spoke to me and myself. We just agreed, and it was either have it now or go down the road, and we might go separate paths, and this fight might never get made. So better now than never.
Daniel, you've had campmates who have been in shows so far, box behind closed doors. Have they been talking to you about kind of what to expect on the night, and are you kind of prepared for what will be a weird atmosphere for you?
Yeah, I'm pretty really when I go out, I'm expecting it to be completely different from the usual fight atmosphere and the crowd and the roar of the crowd and that the buzz going on. I miss that. That's boxing needs that. But this is what the world we're living in. This is what is happening. We know what's going on in the world all over, so we can't escape it.
Daniel, just whilst I've got you, just before I let you shoot off, I just want to get your thoughts on a few other fights in the heavyweight division. In fact, firstly, we saw Frank has come out and said that if you were successful against Joe and if AJ vacated his WBO belt, he'd be more than happy to make you versus Alexander Usyk for what would be a vacant title. Would you be happy to step up and face Alexander if the fight presented itself?
Definitely, that would be an amazing fight. He's a good fighter, a great fighter. He's got good dramatic skills and good boxing skills. And for me, I'm excited about the future. Possible world title fights next. It's all going down.
What did you make of Alexander's victory against Derek Chisora, Daniel?
Yeah, it was a good win. Chisora gave his best. He come forward, he roughed him up, and he made a fight out of it. But Chisora, Usyk's better classier boxing skills won him the fight hands down. I think it was a good competitive fight, but he's just a level above Chisora.
Did the fighting man within you kind of spot weaknesses in Alexander's performance that you feel you could exploit on a personal level?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, for one, he's not the biggest heavyweight, and he poses different sort of challenges to most other heavyweights. The movement and the boxing skills and in and out. So we're good. I guess you'll have to apply boxing skills, boxing, fundamentals and strength and size to that. But there we go. That's another story.
I just want to get your thoughts as well on a video that I'm sure you've seen, the way that everybody in boxing has seen at this point, of Deontay Wilder suggesting Tyson Fury cheated in their rematch by tampering with his gloves. And we've seen other comments about him saying Mark Breland, one of his trainers, was disloyal and accused him of spiking his drink. What are your thoughts on all of Deontay's comments, Daniel?
He's he's entitled to say what he wants. He's obviously going to be devastated. He lost to Tyson probably. The second time was a hell of a lot worse than the first. I thought he lost both, but hey, he has a right to say he was in there. So I can't knock him more than he already has been. He's already lost. He's the world title, and You know, whether they're excuses or not, we'll see.
Just a couple more ones to touch on, Daniel. Fury Cowboy is, well, it hasn't been announced, but it seems to be the one that will go ahead on December 5th, provided that's rubber stamped. What are your thoughts on it?
I haven't seen much of Caballero. Is he the European champion?
I believe former European champion.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen much of him. I don't know. Should be from. I think Fury should win, but whoever it is, you know, regarding who he's fighting next. But who knows? It's many good matchups to be made in the future of boxing, heavyweight boxing especially.
And then finally, there's another big heavyweight fight taking place in December between Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev. Daniel, I'm sure you'll be keeping a close eye on that one. How do you expect it to play out?
Fury and Pulev, I think.
Joshua and Pulev.
Yeah, sorry, Joshua and Pulev. I think Joshua should, you know, beat him. I think he's not going to lose. You know, I think Pulev's had his day, and if Joshua's now he's got the world titles back. I don't think he will take a younger, strong fighter to beat him. Hungry, strong fighter. I don't know about Pulev. I haven't seen. He's been inactive recently for a while, so we've yet to see. But I think Joshua should beat him.
Daniel, we had a little joke off camera before we started, going back to when we first started doing interviews, and you wasn't kind of keen when you first started out on boxing. You enjoying them anymore now?
I'm not keen, man. But it's part of the job, though. I can't knock it. It's part of the job, part of the game, and you know, once I guess I step back from this all and calm the hell down, I'll be able to enjoy it more.
Listen, Daniel, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and obviously catch up. I'm going to leave a final word to yourself. What would you, firstly, two messages to Joe Joyce. What would you like to say to him?
What can I say? Bring it on. It's fight time. We're nearly there. It's time to go. It's soon going to be real, but yeah, can't wait.
And then to everybody at home who will tune in to watch your fight, who unfortunately can't be there because of the current circumstances, what would you like to say to them?
Tune in. You know, it's going to be a great fight, a great night of boxing, and this is the next step for me, and this is prime time heavyweight boxing. You need to tune into this.
Daniel, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. As I say, I'll probably be pestering Martin or the guys at Frank Warren to interview you again in 2 days' time. But it is a pleasure, mate. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social once again.
Right, good stuff. Take care.